All right, I would like to welcome everyone to today's Power Your Lunch Hour program. I'm Vanessa Hansel, the Assistant Executive Director here at the North 65 Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined today by Executive Director Melissa Bettendorf, who will be co-facilitating with me today. We are recording the presentation and the Q&A, and it will be available for viewing at a later date on our website. If you have any questions, please be sure to pop those into the chat, and we will be taking questions at the end of today's presentation. And now I would like to introduce today's guest speaker, Stephanie Lamantia. Stephanie is the Marketing Communications Specialist at Flagship Bank, and she will be sharing with us today tips on how to effectively use Instagram for your business. So please join me in welcoming Stephanie.
Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to thank Vanessa and Melissa for inviting me today. I'm super happy to be here. I do work in marketing, but I am not a public speaker. So I asked them to let me know if I am going too quickly, and I please ask that of all of you as well. I tend to talk fast, so I want to make sure that I am clear and you are getting all of the information that I am trying to share. As Vanessa said, that I am the marketing specialist at Flagship Bank. Flagship Bank is a community bank, and we have 6 locations, one of them located right there in Isanti. We have just under 50 employees. So we're run by a board of directors that consists of family members. So I consider us a family-owned small business. We work specifically and very directly with a lot of small businesses around the area. So any chance we get to help small businesses, we certainly take that opportunity. So that being said, I felt like this was a great way to share some of the things that we use in our marketing with you. I cannot take the credit for all of this information. I also want to thank my creative strategist who started as an intern at Flagship Bank, and I still work with her, Kelsey Willoughby. She helped me collect the information for these slides, and she's really the expert on most of these things. What do they say? Work with people that are smarter than you. But she's fantastic, and she certainly is a wealth of knowledge for me as I plan all of our marketing strategy for the bank as a whole. So I am going to just want to tell you one more thing, because it leads directly into using social media to market and different ways you can do that, and specifically Instagram. I was asked to be here today because I attended a Power Your Lunch Hour with Steve Fredland, who was with Small Business. He talked about using social media and how to strategize and create a whole marketing strategy around all of the different channels in social media. Well, as part of my marketing position at the bank, I also write a blog post every week. So I reached out to him after the presentation and asked him if he would be okay if I used the information that he shared and put it in a blog post for our bank. And to that, he was very, very happy to share that information. And what I did was I made sure that I gave him the credit. I provided his information on our blog post, and voila, all of the people that viewed my blog post now are aware of his business and his company. So what I'm getting at here is, as a small business owner, marketing and advertising can cost a lot of money. I mean, you could do radio, print, TV, whatever, depending on your audience. Sometimes reaching them where they already are online is the best, most effective and cost-effective way to do this. And one of the ways you can do this is by sharing other businesses. So I know he went into detail on that. I encourage you to look at his presentation. He had a really great strategy and an exercise you can do to identify your audience. But for the purpose of this presentation, I'm just going to focus on Instagram as the social media platform. And before I start too, I will say I'm going to go very high level. I may give you information you already know. Please don't be offended. I just want to make sure I cover everything and that everyone understands. So, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to start here by giving you an overview of what I'm going to talk about today. We're going to hit on the types of content you can share on Instagram, optimal posting frequency, best times of day, the aesthetics of the post, a content calendar and using that in your business strategy, and using motion as part of your content on your Instagram. So the first thing that we're going to talk about are in feed. This is just your basic post on Instagram. This is just an example. This is our grid. These are our posts, the ones that we've just recently done. And we'll get into the aesthetics of it all, but it's important that you look at this as a whole while you're putting these posts up. This way you can see that your content looks symmetrical and there's synergy with what you're putting out there. So it's not random and all over the place. The content can be random and all over the place, but using tools like Canva, that was the last Lunch and Learn that we did, or other design tools specific for Instagram and social media marketing are really helpful tools to make sure that your grid looks good and everything looks professional and you're putting your best face forward on your feeds. So the types of content, that is just our static posts. So these are just going to be your images with the content underneath them. The next one are stories. Stories are these short clips. If you're familiar with Snapchat, it's just like that. They're only live for 24 hours and they can be unpolished. They're interactive. You can click on them. You can add links to them. We share our blog posts with a link directly to them, our motion captures, so video clips. We'll share a static post, anything. So you can share any of these posts in stories. And when you navigate around the app itself, you'll be able to see where you can add the stories. And typically it's going to be that little circle in the top with a plus sign. You just click on that and then you can upload your content there. But just know you can use all these types of content and they're only going to stay there for 24 hours. So it's a good tool to use. It's another way to capture people and engage people on your feed. So I highly recommend incorporating the stories as well. Reels is another motion. So these are short 15 to 60 second clips that you can also include. This is just, again, another way that you can add content to the Instagram platform. We've posted some that have gotten like 1,000 views in the first hour or 20 minutes that they were up. Instagram and all the social media platforms, they're complicated because their algorithms, I'm not sure if this is a word you hear a lot, they change a lot. So a lot of these are based on what type of content you're putting. I am not an expert. I can't tell you how their minds think, but I know that, this is a real thing. And there's a lot of information out there where you can get tips on how to kind of read these algorithms and know where you should be or that you should be adding motion content, and that's going to get your post seen more. That's really all that's saying, is that it's a way that they're sharing your posts with more people or putting them at the top of their feeds. So that's about as deep as I'm going to get into that, because I am not an expert on how they measure that, but it is a thing. So remember that word, algorithms, and use all of these options to try and capture your audience as best as you can on this platform. IGTV. So I'm gonna talk about this a little bit. I just recently started using video content on our social media channels. And when I say video, I mean, I go with my cell phone and a tripod, and I've got this ridiculous rose gold microphone, and I go to various businesses and I will get footage of myself talking about the business, describing the business, perhaps going in and talking to the store owner or giving a little bit of history about the business. And Kelsey, who I mentioned earlier, will edit it down to about 1.5 minutes, and we will share this on our Instagram. IGTV lives on the platform. So what happens is when you're scrolling through your Instagram feed and you see a video, it lets you watch just the beginning of it. It'll let you watch, 10 seconds of it. And then you'll get a little bar across the bottom that says, watch more. You click on that, and where you're going is IGTV. So that is another place that your videos live, and that it can collect data. All of these different places can collect insights and data. So you can measure who's looking at what or how many people are looking at these channels just within your Instagram channel. They're, like I said, 1-minute clips, video clips, and I also share them on other platforms, which I'm going to get into a little bit. I want to really focus on Instagram, but it's important to know that all of your social media can work cohesively. And that, again, goes back to the presentation that we had previously with Steve about using your content across all of your social media channels. I just feel like Instagram is a great place to start because you can share things from Instagram to Facebook as well. So we are sharing this content across our social media channels as well. So that is what IGTV is. So we went over what all of the different types of content are. I know I did that kind of quickly, and I just want to make sure I get through all of these slides and we can talk more after I'm done presenting the slides. But what we do, this is what we use as a formula. And again, you got to do what works for your audience. But we post at least 10 times on average a week. So we're posting sometimes twice a day on both our Facebook and our Instagram. We're trying to incorporate 7 to 10 stories a week. So that means, while we're posting that content on just the feed, we're also adding these stories, which can be repeats of what we're posting. We also try to do 2 to 3 reels a week. So not as many. We schedule these ahead of time, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but we do a content calendar. So we make sure we include all of these types of posts on our weekly schedule. And then the one IGTV reel, which is my video, and that we use as a Friday feature. So when I say it all depends on your audience, believe me, this looks like outer worldly to me too, but there are ways that you can read some of this data and know when your audience is online. This came from a HubSpot. I don't know if you're familiar with HubSpot or Hootsuite. These are different platforms that you can use to post social media. This came from a blog article that they did. You got to get out there and read. Like, there's so much content in articles about the best time to post, or what works for small businesses and the algorithms that I talked about. We do a lot of reading. Kelsey does a lot of reading, and she'll do the research. But there's a variety of articles that'll release updates all the time on the trends and kind of like what it's looking like, when you should post, the optimal times of day. There's lots of things that you take into consideration. It's dependent on what day it is, if it's a weekend versus a weekday. We use our audience insights, and I made sure Kelsey explained this to me a little more clearly. In Instagram, as an administrator, you're able to look at various insights. So you can collect data as to how many people are viewing your posts, what your top post was. And in that audience insight category, if you have more than 100 followers, it tracks when they are active, depending on the day. So you can pull that data. So as long as you have 100 followers, you can see this type of information. So this is just an example of a grid. Like the highest engagement, you can see that's that darkest color. It looks like, we're looking at Fridays at 10 o'clock is a really good time, or, Wednesday at noon, so you can kind of gauge when to put your posts out there, and you can schedule them accordingly. So, it is a science, and, it takes a little bit of research, but you can find when your optimal times are, and it's constantly changing. So that doesn't make it very easy, but if you want to be very, if you want to do this intentionally and you want to be intentional when you're posting, it's usually going to get you more engagement, and it's good to be conscious at least of when your audience is online. So you can, like I said, track that based on your posts, and as long as you have those 100 followers, you can see that data. Visuals. These are things that we talked about: Canva, Illustrator. These are different types of design tools. I know there was a Power Your Lunch just recently about using Canva. This is just so you can make all of your images look consistent and give your brand an image. You want to be consistent. You can use a preset tone or coloring. There's like different filters, or I call them filters, but there's different settings you can use. We went into that a little bit with Canva. You want to make sure that for your posts, for your business, they're all gonna look the same. So when you look at it as a tile here, you can tell that it's all sort of the same tone. And the content, there's a black and white image, there's video, there's all different color, but it's the same type of tone. I don't know if that makes sense. So when you look at our grid and you can see our images, they all have the same tone, and you do that with those design tools. calendar, I mentioned this a couple times. This has been really important for us. You want to have a plan when you're posting your social media posts. What we do is we meet once a week, and Kelsey and I will go over what we want to post about that week. There's so much different content you could bring in. You know, I'm going to mention we are a bank, and a bank does have a lot of rules and regulations when it comes to what information we're putting out there. The way that we're able to post all this fun content and videos and things like that is we specifically stay away from product sales. It's important for us to tell a story, because our intention when we're out on social media and we're connecting with our communities is to let you know who we are. So we use it as a branding tool for our business, and not as much as a sales tool. So it allows us to kind of eliminate that compliance layer for what we're putting out there. You know, again, this is going to depend on your business. If you're a retailer, you know, you are going to need to put going to need to put promotions. So, you know, that may go into several other things that you can do on Instagram, including contests or, you know, things like that. We tend to shy away from that only because of those legal issues. But, you know, you can use Instagram for so many different things. If you know that you're going to be running a promotion that week, or if, you know, it's, there's all kinds of things you can incorporate in a plan. We do specific days on ours. We do Minnesota Maker Monday. This is an example of our Travel Tuesday. So we just put travel photos. It might be us. It might just be an image we found of the Grand Canyon or something, and we just talk about that. But that's going to be a consistent every week, as you're going to see another place on Tuesdays. And on Fridays, we do our Feature Friday, which is where we highlight the local business, and we put my video up there. So if you want to start a pattern, that's always easy. If you're like hurting, like you're just struggling for content, that's something that makes it easier for us. Just have a plan, have specific days, incorporate, we call them, you know, hashtag days, you know, hashtag Travel Tuesday, hashtag Wander Wednesday, we do at the other bank, hashtag Minnesota Monday, hashtag Feature Friday. So, you know, that hashtag becomes, it'll get traction when you use the hashtags. Using hashtags is another whole story, but that's something that you want to incorporate as well. The best way to decide on a hashtag too is when you start to put that hashtag and start the word, you're going to get all kinds of suggestions, and they're going to come up by which one is the most popular. Choose the most popular one, because when people search that, your posts are going to come up. So that's how that works. You want to do those hashtags on your Instagram posts. And again, you know, use your design tool to make it look consistent and make sure that, you know, everything is looking like your brand. There's lots of other ways you can get content. There is a national holiday literally for everything. So, I mean, it could be National Pet Day. It can be National Hot Fudge Sundae Day. And, you know, maybe, you know, depending on what your business is, we didn't even know, we had, highlighted a business in St. Paul. It was Subtext Bookstore. And I went in, that was our last video that we did, and we posted it this Friday. Well, Saturday happened to be Independent Bookstore Owner Day. Who knew? We like had no idea, but our content then, you know, with our hashtag matched up with a day that people were probably already posting about and looking at. So who knows, you know, our content could have come up where it never would have before for somebody just searching that hashtag. So, you know, just an example of some ways you can find content that may engage with other people and, you know, may get your post seen by more people. And that's really the goal, is to have as many people see your posts and see your page as possible, because it's a free way of promoting your business. Motion, the videos that I have, using motion, the IGTV, the Instagram reels, the stories, everything that I talked about. This was something that Kelsey had done a little bit of research on, and they showed that videos put you at the top of the algorithm chain. So we, just by looking into it and researching, if you had more video, you were going to get seen more. It was going to get put in higher up on the post feeds. So that's what we did. If you have a way of using video, go for it. I mean, it's as simple as, like I said, I have my cell phone on a tripod and that ridiculous karaoke microphone of my daughter's, and I go out and I get the video. There's editing tools all over the internet. where you can add song, you can add music, you can like just mix it up any way that you can. But videos, I really highly recommend checking that out. And if you can add those stories, reels, or that IGTV to your Instagram strategy, I would highly recommend that. So that's really what we do for that. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. I just keep going. Something that I did want to mention, that all of our videos are on a YouTube channel that we created. Like I said, you can use all of these things cohesively. The YouTube channel does create a link, so then you're able to share these videos. That's what we use it for. So, perhaps you're talking to a potential client, or you want to show someone something that you did, you go to your YouTube channel, collect the link, and then you can email it or send it any way you want. Again, it's another way for people to reach you. YouTube, I mean, I could talk to you forever. I have lost my children to YouTube. It's free. It's another online platform that you can promote your business. If you're just going to take videos, you can have a YouTube channel. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to be active on social media right now. As a country and a nation as a whole, we were all forced to be at home the most of the part of last year. And we are unable to go to all of these events we typically go to, or to gather with people. Online is how we reached all of our communities and our clients. And so we just amped it up, and we are on every channel. I have to give credit where credit's due there too. We have a leadership that's very supportive, and not only supportive, encourages us, and for a community bank, that's not your typical, just because of those compliance things I talked about. But we have a very forward-thinking leadership that understands that this is where people are. This is how we can connect with our communities. And, we've raised our following from when I started a couple of years ago from maybe 400 followers to over 700. So, I mean, we've got about 700 people looking at us. And, if we did want to promote a product or, share something that we're doing, you've got a direct contact with a potential buyer or partner or somebody, client. So it's really worked well for us. So not only are we on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, which is huge, and you all know is a huge platform for business to business communication. And we are on TikTok, which is crazy, but we have a TikTok channel as well. So, I guess if I can say anything, you want to be as many places as you can. It's free. You can do this, at very little to no cost. You're able to reach people, but people need to be following you. So that's why what I had stated in the beginning about sharing Steve's presentation and letting people know who he is, do that. It's like, pay it forward, connect, network, just like he said, with other businesses. And you can tag them in your posts. We try to partner with as many people as we can, to get our name out there. We use this as, branding content. It's a big part of our marketing strategy. And like I said, it's organic. These people are coming to you on purpose when they see this. So I would highly recommend any of these platforms, but Instagram has a very, very complex and diverse ways that you can reach people. And as I mentioned, we do share a lot of small businesses. We are members of the Metro IBA. So we've reached out and asked any of the businesses. I mentioned Subtext Bookstore, if they wanted us to come out. I am opening that to any of you. If you're business owners, if you would like us to come out and get a little video, we'll share it on our social media. Absolutely. We're just trying to spread the love here. We know small businesses have been struggling. I know when the PPP loans opened, we processed over 300 applications in that first month of April. So, Flagship Bank is, this is one of the ways we're able to help our communities and our small businesses. And we really want to be there for you. So that's all my slides. There's the picture. Sorry about that. That was my image. That's everything that I have. I don't even know what time it is or if I left any time for questions, but I'm happy to try and answer anything that I can. Like I said, Kelsey would have been here with me. She was unable to join me. And I can certainly get back to you with answers if I don't have them. But if there's anything that you want to ask or say, let me know.
Stephanie, there is a question from the chat.
Okay.
It says from Steve Fredland. Let's say I
Oh.
want to do a quick 30 to 60 second behind the scenes video for Instagram.
Okay.
What feature, type, or platform should I typically use, between a video, a story, a reel, an IGTV? Also, is it as effective to link to YouTube videos, or should they be IG standalone for the algorithm?
So I'll answer how we do it. For the 60-second, I would certainly do the IGTV. I do the video. And those are a standalone for the IGTV, I believe. I can double check with Kelsey on that, but we upload those to our YouTube channel. Everything we're creating, and when we create it, the 60-second, we do the full length video. I can ask Kelsey exactly how she does that, but for 60 seconds, I would definitely say do the whole video for sure.
Great, thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah,
I've got to run, but thank you. Nice to see you and hear you.
Yeah, you too. Awesome.
Any other questions? I had a question. Of the options that you shared, the video, the story, the reels, which one do you see the most engagement on your page?
And it varies, but I'll tell you, those reels, they really capture a lot of views. And I can tell you, depending on the content, I mean, like I said, we had one where Kelsey had a cup of coffee and she's walking through one of the parks in Minneapolis, and it just blew up. I mean, immediately. So I feel like the reels are not to be overlooked. Even on my personal Instagram, I never use them, but those seem to be really super popular. So I would definitely look into the reels. I think that those have tended to be kind of pushed up in that algorithm rhythm. So I think I would suggest looking into reels for sure, those short little clips. And I'll tell you what they're doing is they are competing with TikTok. So they're pushing those as much as they can ahead. We had a question about using our TikTok, like if we did TikTok using that as a reel, or crossing the platforms. And it's a good way to also let people know you're on TikTok. If you use those TikTok videos in your reels, then that's, it's a good way to cross promote that you're also there. So again, that is a Kelsey question we can get into. Reach out to me if you want to talk more about this and we can answer you. But reels, I think, would be my answer for sure to look into.
And for everyone on today, Stephanie's contact information is in the chat. I will also be following up with an email to everyone who registered for today's program, and I will provide you with her contact information for any follow-ups. Are there any additional questions before we wrap up today? If not, I would just like to thank you again, Stephanie, for being here with us today. It was a great session, and thank you so much for being a resource for all of us for Instagram.
For sure.
We hope that you can all join us next time for Power Your Lunch Hour that is held on the 4th Tuesday of every month. Our next session will be Tuesday, May 25th, and we will be talking about hiring with Rebecca Perotti from Central Minnesota Jobs and Training. So for everyone who has job openings, looking for tips, tricks, strategies on hiring in the current climate, we hope to see you next month. And you can find all of the latest information about chamber programs and the Power Your Lunch Hour at north65chamber.com. I will stay on for a few minutes. Perhaps Stephanie can stay on for a few minutes if anyone has any questions. But I'd like to thank you all for joining us today and have a great rest of your day.
So I do have a question.